Hey everyone! Happy Christmas Eve to everyone here in Australia and New Zealand. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone on the other side of the world. You guys are celebrating on a Monday. It's Tuesday here at 1:04 p.m. I hope everyone's having a good day or night wherever they are. Happy Christmas to everyone, and hello to all of our replay viewers. I hope that you enjoy listening. So let's say hello to whoever is in the chat. Hello to Montana Sky, Amy Gibbs, Zeracia, Audra, Andrew. Hey Bunny Bubs, hey Emil, and hello Bella Blue. Welcome in everyone. I think we have everything set. Yep, so we are streaming on Facebook in the Facebook group. We'll be in the Facebook group for the next 2 weeks. On Periscope, on DLive, and our main channel that we use is YouTube. Sometimes with the Facebook and Periscope, you can't see all the comments. I've just set Restream up though, so we should be able to see comments back and forth. But if you're having trouble, just pop over to YouTube. So do you like my little festive feeling start screen? I thought I'd do something a little Christmassy, even though it's true crime. And so let's get rid of that and let me show you our Christmas background. Oh, it's pronounced Emily. Awesome. I will remember that. Okay, so I thought that I would do a little Christmas backdrop onto our Christmas themed live today. So as you can see, the bunnies and Bella have their Santa hats on. I thought that was really funny. I thought it was cute. So just something fun for today's stream. Today's stream is just going to be a really relaxed, chilled one. We're just going to talk about crimes that have, mostly murders that have happened around Christmas. And if you saw in the thumbnail, we're going to talk about JonBenet Ramsey, Laci Peterson. We have an axe murderer. That really did happen. A family was murdered on Christmas. There's a lot of horrific things that have happened on Christmas. So let's cozy on up. Hey Iva, hey Amy. Cozy on up. Share this out if you haven't already. I do believe I have shared it out. Let me just do it once more on Twitter. Oh no, Twitter's already got a notification. That's fine. Alrighty. So there are actually a lot of things that have happened on Christmas when it comes to crime. I don't know where we want to start. Do we want to start with some light crimes or should we go heavy duty? What do you guys think? Is everyone ready for Christmas? I am. Actually no, I'm not. I still have one present to buy, but it's just online, so it's just an online thing. So I'll do that after this stream. And after this stream, I'll have to get ready because I'm going to see Santa. Every year, our rural fire service comes by with Santa in a truck and has done so since I was a kid. So this year, I don't know if anyone over in America knows, but I'm in New South Wales and we are being very, very badly hit by bushfires. 100 homes have been lost. The wildlife, especially koalas, have been devastated, and sadly lives have been lost too. So I have a big donation. They bring around buckets for donations. A lot of our firefighters are volunteer, and so I will be donating to them today. Hey Renee, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? I know Renee's not been feeling very well. So is it dropping out? Let me have a little look at the stream health. says it's excellent as of 2 minutes ago. Let me have a look at the bit rate quickly. It says it's all right. Yeah, 2,000 koalas at last count. It's so bad. So bad. Let's focus on crime. That's what we're here for, right? So how about, which one would you guys like to start off with? The main four I want to talk about is JonBenet, Laci Peterson, the axe murderer Dustin Lee Clop, and then a family. What was the family's name? The Lawson family. Hey, Bean Sprout. Hey, Renee. Completely wiped out and exhausted. Yeah, Renee's got the flu. Worst time to get the flu possible. Worst time. I'll pick. Let's start out with the Lawson family because this happened in 1929. So let me get their photo up for you. We will get to JonBenet next, I think. So let's have a little look at the Lawson family. Let me show you the photo. This is the photo that got me. I was like, oh, I want to, it's very, I don't know. It's a very interesting photo. Very old school, obviously. This is the Lawson family on the screen. And Laci, we will get, yeah, we'll be doing Laci and JonBenet and a whole bunch of others as well. So these are all crimes that happened on or around Christmas. So I'm reading an article from thelineup.com. And so this photo that you see has a special meaning in itself because this is the last living photo of the Lawson family. You're cutting out for 4 seconds. About, really? Okay, what's going on? I'm using, let me elevate my bitrate a little, see what happens. Okay, let's give this a second to kick in and see if this helps. I don't know how you can go from having an excellent stream to just all of a sudden the stream health not working. How confusing. Let's give it a moment. It's saying it's good now. Let me know, guys. It's fine now. I'll go out and come back in. See what happens, Iva, and then let me know. Oh, Bella, you poor thing. Having to deal with Telstra on Christmas Eve. Hey, Julia. Okay, so the Lawson family. We all good now, guys? Let me know. So this happened in North Carolina on Christmas Day in 1929. And that photo that you see on screen is the last photo of them. And so the lineup says Charlie Lawson had been married to Fanny Manring for 18 years, during which time they had 8 children. I'm trying to work out in the photo if you see all 8 children. I don't think so. 4 sons and 4 daughters. Their third child, William, died in 1920, but the other 7 children were still alive on the morning of December 25th, 1929. No, Audrey, they don't look happy at all, do they? By the evening, only 16-year-old Arthur would remain in the living world. Wow. So they all worked as sharecroppers. I'm going to have to Google what that is. A sharecropper. A tenant farmer who gives a part of each crop as rent. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they worked as sharecroppers and had finally... You lost me. Oh, what is going on, guys? I don't know what's going on. Okay. More information. It just says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. I don't understand why though. I think OBS or YouTube has actually gone on Christmas vacay a little earlier. So who's having problems with buffering? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you're buffering? Well, Audra, we can't continue if we've got 3 people saying that they cut out. We cut out. I really don't know what's going on. So Emily, Ivor, Amy are all buffering. Bunny's buffering. Little Blue's buffering. Wow, okay. I genuinely don't know what to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I may turn my internet off. The pic is buffering. Hey Andrew, it's okay now. How bizarre. Let me have a look and see if anyone in the group... No one seems to be... I mean, it's working all right. Hey, Miss Justice, it's working all right on my device. I don't have any buffering. Okay, put a 2 in the chat if you're not buffering, if everything's fine. The picture's buffering. That's so bizarre. Sia says it's looking good. I don't know. Do we want to stop? Oh, so it's fine for everyone now. Andrew, is the video and the audio working okay? Well, it's all right now. That's so confusing. Do you know what? I think that the internet has gone on holidays. That's just so weird, isn't it, guys? Because I mean, it's working completely fine here. That's so frustrating. Just got another update saying stream is healthy. Okay. Well, I guess we may have some in and out fluctuations. We'll just have to make do with it. But I want to go ahead with our Christmas crumbs because we have a lot to cover and everyone sent me some good info. Okay. let's move on. Let's go back to this family being murdered, shall we? Oh, okay. So the Lawson family work as sharecroppers, which we found out they give part of their crops for rent, which is really cool actually. And they finally saved enough money to buy their own farm 2 years before this Christmas Day tragedy that we're about to discuss. So a little bit before the Christmas morning situation, the whole family went into town to buy new clothes for a family portrait, which is the last photo of them taken alive, and that's the photo on the screen. Now, I do think that back in those days you didn't smile for photos. It just, I don't know. It's a very interesting photo to me. Very interesting photo. So it says in this article, since new clothes and portraits were unusual luxuries for working class families of the era, many have since seen this as proof of premeditation on Charlie Lawson's part, perhaps immortalizing his loved ones before destroying them. So Charlie Lawson is the 16-year-old who survived. Everyone else perished. The bloody crime scene began on Christmas afternoon. What year was this? 1929. As Lawson's daughters, Carrie and Mabel, or Maybelle, ages 12 and 7, were leaving to visit their aunt and uncle. Charlie Lawson lay in wait for them near the barn, and when they drew close enough, he shot them both with a shotgun. He then bludgeoned their bodies afterwards, presumably to ensure that they were dead. Afterward, Lawson hid the evidence of his crimes in the tobacco barn. Thank you, Ivor. So Ivor tells us no smiling as they had to stand very still for a long time for camera exposure to work. Perfect. Thank you for explaining that. We're all sitting here thinking, wow, they're miserable sods. And it's not. It's just because it probably took 60 years for the photo to develop. Okay, so he bludgeons these poor little girls, Carrie and Maybelle. And from there, he walks back to the house and shoots his wife, who was on the porch, before tracking down his other 4 children and killing them one by one. I think I've heard of this actually before. He shot his 17-year-old daughter, Marie, first, then his 2 young sons, James, aged 4, and Raymond, aged 2, before beating to death his 4-month-old baby, Mary Lou. Oh my gosh. What a monster. Prior to going on his bloody spree, Charlie Lawson sent his oldest son, Arthur, on a town errand, though his motives for sparing the one child remain as mysterious as his motives for murdering the others. I have heard about this before. When his family was dead, Charlie Lawson carefully positioned their bodies, arms crossed, with rocks under their heads like pillows. After that, he disappeared into the nearby woods where he stayed for several hours before shooting himself in the head. By the time Charlie Lawson committed suicide, the bodies of his family had already been found, and several neighbours who had gathered on his property heard the gunshot fire that ended his life. Miss Justice, this was in the year 1929. Charlie's body was found by a tree encircled with footprints. He had been carrying letters to his parents and appeared to have spent some time pacing around the tree before deciding to end his life as well. At the time, no one seemed to know why Charlie Lawson would suddenly kill his entire family and himself. Some believed he had a head injury that he sustained months prior to the cause. Once prior was the cause, though an autopsy revealed no evidence of brain damage. Rumours swirled that Lawson hadn't actually committed the murders at all, that he was an unfortunate witness to some organised crime. and he and his family were murdered by gangsters to keep them quiet. Oh, I have a photo of their resting place. Let me pop this up. And then you think about poor Arthur. He came back home and all of his family were murdered. How could you be that selfish to that poor kid? Audra, this took place in North Carolina. And this is their resting place. Actually, I'll just make it bigger for a second so you can see. So you can see they're all on there as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 people died that day. Charlie, of course, killed himself. And then you have Fanny, Mary Lou, Marie, Carrie, Maybelle, James, Raymond, and William. And then poor Arthur. That's horrible. And so let's keep reading and see what happens. So Arthur Lawson, their only remaining family member, grew up, was married, and had 4 children. Oh my gosh, no. Sadly, he was killed in a car accident in 1949 at the age of 32. That's so sad. There is a small museum dedicated to the Lawson family, located at the Madison Dry Goods Country Store in Madison, North Carolina. The museum sits on the original site of the funeral home where the 8 members of the Lawson family who died that fateful Christmas were embalmed. To this day, tourists and locals alike pop into Madison Dry Goods to view newspaper clippings and old photographs of the Lawson family affair. After all these years, people are still fascinated with that terrible tragedy, said Richard Miller, owner of Madison Dry Goods. Oh, okay. William is their baby that died. So it was 8 that died on the day. The 8 Lawsons who perished that Christmas day, including Charlie, are interred together with lost baby William beneath a single headstone, which bears the melancholy inscription, "Not now, but in the coming years, it will be in a better land. We'll read the meaning of our tears, and then sometime we'll understand." Wow. And so, wow. That is so sad. That's awful. Man. How horrible. Poor Arthur. And then he died at 32. That just seems so unfair to me. I don't know about you guys, but that's just brutal. No, I was thinking that too. I don't think I would want him buried with everyone else. That kind of sucks to me. All right, who should we move on to next? We've got Laci Peterson, we have JonBenet, we have Mr. Duncan, who was the axe killer. Which of the 3 would you like to look at next? Miss Justice, Charlie was the father, he's the one that did it, and he actually killed himself after he killed everyone else. Arthur was one of the children, and he was sent on an errand and came home and discovered them all. Which is just so cruel. So cruel to intentionally do that. I think that's kind of worse than, in a sense, it's very messed up. Okay, let's look at the at Mr. Duncan. No, Dustin. Duh. Not Duncan. Dustin. Okay, let me put his photo up. Arthur and Martha. Take a look at this mugshot. Oh, this definitely the stuff of nightmares. Let's do this one instead because it's got her in it as well. There we go. All right. Oh, there's an interesting update with this one as well. Oh, he does have beady eyes. Okay. Let's go for this article. You like the music? Oh, you heard the Lawson home is still haunted? Oh, that would be fun if you could visit that home. Okay, so this is an article from the huffingtonpost.com.au. And it says, accused axe murderer Dustin Lee Klopp confessed to killing his wife on Christmas Eve, DA says. So this article is from the 30th of December 2014. A central Pennsylvania prosecutor says Christmas has been forever ruined for the children of 34-year-old woman who was brutally killed by their father on Christmas Eve. According to Stedman, who is the Lancaster County District Attorney, he says Dustin Lee Clop, 34, of Paradise Township, called police on Christmas Day and told them about his wife's death. Upon arrival at the scene, a Pennsylvania state trooper found the body of Stephanie Kilhefner concealed inside a bag in a shed on the couple's property. Roughly 30 minutes later, Klopp arrived at the state police barracks in Lancaster and turned himself in. It's cutting out a bit. Maybe you'll have to go in and out. Again, I've just checked and it says stream's healthy on this end. Is there a picture of Dusty? This is Dustin. Dustin's on the left. He has sadly he murdered they haven't given the name yet. Why haven't they given her name yet? Oh yes they have. Stephanie Kilhefner. So he admitted to killing his wife of 3 years and the murder had occurred on Christmas Eve at about 10 p.m. They had a domestic argument that escalated into a physical altercation. He admitted he knocked her unconscious, cut her throat with a knife, and then took an axe to her head. Oh my gosh, that's brutal. Klopp hid Kilhefner's body and cleaned up the crime scene. You still see the picture of the family? Well, you shouldn't. I think you may need to. I don't know what's going on. That's weird that it's not showing. I would go out and come back in because it's updated on my screen. I'm watching on mute on YouTube as well on my iPad so I can see comments. Klopp hid Kilhefner's body and cleaned up the crime scene. Then the following morning, he took the couple's children, ages 2 and 5, to his parents' house to celebrate Christmas. So Stedman says, I know that Dustin's father drove him to the state police, so I would assume he told his father something. Yeah, so this is his wife, and he killed her. He knocked her unconscious, cut her throat with a knife, and then took an axe to her head. I mean, that is overkill. That's insane. That's so bad. Oh my gosh. The county coroner is conducting an autopsy on Kilhafner Monday afternoon. Klopp told police his wife was still alive at the time he took the axe to her head. Oh my gosh. Authorities do not believe the children witnessed Kilhafner slaying, thank God. So according to court records obtained by the news site Lancaster Online, Klopp had a prior criminal record that includes arrest for drugs, DUI, resisting arrest, burglary, and simple assault. So let's have a little look. He was charged with homicide, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. So that was in 2014, but I just had a little look and I don't think he made trial because something happened. Okay, so I have an update. So this update was from 2015. This is only 3 months after he was arrested. A Pennsylvania man accused of killing his wife with an axe on Christmas Eve and sexually assaulting her was pronounced dead after a suicide attempt. He hanged himself in his cell at Lancaster County Prison on Wednesday night. The Paradise Township man was brought to the hospital and declared brain dead because of lack of oxygen to the brain. He was pronounced dead on Friday. When Kilhafner, and so it talks a little bit about the crime, and it says, when Kilhafner was dead, Klopp put her body in a bag in a shed and tried to clean up. Police believe he sexually assaulted his wife during the incident, although it is not clear if she was alive or dead at the time. That's awful. That's so sad. So that's another Christmas crime. And then he died several months later. He hung himself and died. So yeah, that's so sad. But the fact, oh, the axe, it's so violent. I did a video on Evie Amati. She was an axe attacker in Australia. If you want to go and have a look at those videos, you'll have to scroll down a little bit, but I have the footage of her actually attacking two people in a convenience store with an axe. It's crazy. So crazy. Okay, so let's move on. How are we going, guys? Is the stream working okay for everyone? I guess Christmas makes people snap. I guess it does. I mean, it is a stressful time of the year, but there's no excuse for an axe or to kill your entire family. I really can't work out why it's slightly buffering for some. Just filling up my unicorn mug. The only problem with my unicorn mug is that it has like a horn, and I'm left-handed. I'm left-handed and I can't drink it with my left hand because otherwise the unicorn horn would poke me in the eye. Alrighty, do we want to do Laci Peterson or JonBenet next? Which crime should we cover next? You guys pick. Let's do, give me the name. Laci or JonBenet. Which one next? You guys pick. And do you know what I might do? I might actually... Okay, Ivor. It says... I mean, it's just so confusing because for me it says that the stream status is excellent. Do I have another one? Oh, I have more cases. I definitely have more cases. So we've... We can do JonBenet next or Laci Peterson. You guys pick. Just let me know in the comments. Just say JonBenet or Laci. Or just says Laci. We've got one for Laci, one for JonBenet. Just putting up a photo. Let's do Laci then. We've got two for Laci. We'll do Laci. We'll get to John though. JonBenet. Okay, so this is another Christmas Eve crime. And let me do it on... You might be outnumbered. No, we're still going to do it. We're still covering it. It's just who's next. Do you know what? There's actually an article from 3 days ago about Laci Peterson. Let's have a little look. I'll have a little look at that in a minute. Let's just go simple and go Wikipedia, and we'll do a little overview and then we'll get deep into it. Oh, Miss Justice, I'd say that everyone else is invested in all of the drama that's going on. And probably really boring. Absolutely beautiful. So her, so Laci Denise Peterson, where did this happen? Modesto, California. So she disappeared whilst 8 months pregnant with her first child that we now know was a little boy, and he was named Connor. She was reportedly last seen alive on Christmas Eve 2002, and her husband was later convicted for first-degree murder for her and second-degree murder for the death of her son Connor. And he is on death row in San Quentin State Prison. And I do believe there was a documentary that was released last year or the year before that was trying to sort of portray him as being completely innocent. It was very interesting. So let's go straight to the disappearance. The last two people known to have spoken to Laci, besides her husband Scott, was her half-sister Amy and her mother Sharon. Amy saw her on the December 23rd, which is what it is for you guys, at 5:45 p.m. Laci and Scott both went to Amy's workplace to get their hair cut. As they spoke, Amy said Scott offered to pick up a fruit basket that she had ordered for her grandfather as a Christmas gift for the next day because he would be playing at a golf course nearby. Prosecutors say Scott also told other people he would play golf on the day of Christmas Eve. And later that evening, the last time that Sharon spoke to her daughter was on the phone around 8:30 p.m. And so cut to Christmas Eve, 2002. Scott says that he sees his wife for the last time at 9:30 a.m. And his story, as we all famously know, is that he went fishing. And then she went about doing, you know, all the stuff you sort of do on the day before Christmas, all of the cooking and the cleaning and all of that sort of stuff. And she also walked her dog at a nearby park. The next morning, Karen, the neighbor, stated that at 10:30 a.m. she found the Petersons' dog, a golden retriever named Mackenzie, and returned him back to the Peterson yard. So that happened, but that's poorly worded. So basically what happened, and we know this, is that Laci went for a walk with the dog, which is awesome. She was doing that at 8.5 months pregnant. That's pretty cool. And so I think the original thought, correct me if I'm wrong, is that something happened to her whilst she was out walking the dog, because the neighbor actually finds the dog and puts it back in the yard, but that isn't known until the next day. 17 years ago. Very, very crazy. So according to ABC News, Scott reported Laci missing from their Modesto home. However, the New York Post reported that when Laci still had not returned home by 5:15 p.m, Peterson called his mother-in-law, and that a half hour later, Laci's stepfather. After police arrived at the Peterson home, Laci's keys, wallet and sunglasses were found in her purse in a closet at the home the evening of December 24th. The dining room table was meticulously set for a family dinner the following night. One detective found a phone book on the kitchen counter open to a full-page ad for a defense lawyer. Scott was reported to be completely calm. That's interesting. I don't think I knew that. There was a phone book opened for a defense lawyer on the kitchen counter. Wow. Interesting. I think they from the beginning probably assumed something, he was involved some way, somehow. So originally he told the police that he spent the day golfing. And then he tells police that he'd gone to fish for sturgeon at the Berkeley Marina. He says at 2:15 p.m. he left a message for Laci saying, "Hey beautiful, it's 2:15, I'm leaving Berkeley." Scott stated he had spent that he went fishing for about 90 miles from the couple's Modesto home. Apparently, it says here detectives were very surprised by his behavior. He was very cool, calm and collect. And one of the investigators told ABC News in 2017, "I suspected Scott when I first met him. Didn't mean he did it, but I was a little bit thrown off by his calm, cool demeanor and a lack of questioning. He wasn't, 'When will you call me back? Can I have one of your cards? What are you guys doing now?' That's a big red flag." And so then this huge, as I think anyone knows, I still remember it. And I was a teenager. I remember the searching that went on. It was huge. They searched everywhere. There were vigils. There was obviously flyers. There was a hotline. It was just insane, how much they did. And then they eventually, there was a reward that was offered. It was $25,000, and it actually increased to $250,000, and then finally $500,000, which is a lot of money. And there was a lot of media attention around this. I think this was the case of the time. I mean, we're still talking about it. It was just crazy. So I think that went on for quite some time, and it wasn't until April 13th, 2003. So like 4 months later, sadly, that Laci's body was found. Actually, no. Connor's body was found first. His body was well preserved, sadly, and it was in a marshy area of the San Francisco Bay Shore in Richmond Point Isabel Regional Shoreline. And his umbilical cord was still attached. It appeared to have been torn, but not cut or clamped, as it's normally practiced after birth. And then a day later, they found Laci's body. Obviously, she still the fetus wasn't in her uterus anymore. And I think the actual term for that is coffin birth, and it's very common to happen after, sadly, the mother passes, because of the muscle relaxation, I do believe. I'm actually reading a book about that sort of stuff at the moment. It's called "Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs" by Caitlin Doherty. So when was during all this time though, we have the situation with Amber Fry. Does anyone remember the whole scandal with Amber? Like, I can still remember listening to the audio of Scott Peterson saying, whilst he's at the vigil for Laci, to Amber Fry, his girlfriend, "Oh, I'm in Paris and I'm looking at the Eiffel Tower." I still remember that. Let's see if I can get the audio for it. Let me have a little look and see if I can get the audio. Oh, interesting. There is a website. Speaking of appeals, there is a website called scottpetersonappeal.org. You've got some... Oh, that scared the absolute heck out of me. Hey, Emin. I forgot that I had D-Live notifications turned on. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for following. So if you want to read something interesting, go to scottpetersonappeal.org. They have a lot of information there that I think that they're... Oh, here we go. I just want to hear that audio again. Oh, we've got the... I don't want the transcript. I want the audio, people. That's really annoying. I want the audio. Oh, it says I'm restricted from playing it because I'm not in America. How rude. How rude. He's 44 now. Let's have a look and see if we've got a photo of him now. An updated photo. Okay, when's this photo from? Ooh, I have an updated photo, guys. No, that's not updated. That's a... Let me show you what I'm looking at. Yes, he did, didn't he? So yes, he refused to be on camera. Okay, so this is... Well, this is They've got a mugshot for him for 2005, but that's not updated. There's one for 07. Let's see if I can get one for now. No, they haven't released any. That's really weird. I want a photo. Okay, well, I guess we're not looking at a photo. Let me put this one on screen. He does look different though. Sort of see a difference there. Those photos were taken in 2005, so there's no updated one since then, which is really weird. Anyway, let's keep reading. Yeah, so there's this whole drama with Amber Fry, and she comes out and says that they were in a relationship, but she didn't really know. He told her that he was a widower. And it was going to be his first Christmas without his wife, which is just crazy. He was eventually arrested on April 18th. So they found the bodies of Connor and Laci on April 13th and 14th. And then on the 18th, he was arrested. Oh, no, a year later. No. Same year, 2003. The same year they're... not the same year, but you know what I mean. He was at a golf course, of course. And then remember he tried to flee to Mexico. That was really funny. When he dyed his hair, he bleached his hair and he tried to run. His trial began on June 1st, 2004. And on November 12th, 2004, Scott Peterson was convicted of first-degree murder for his wife's death and second-degree murder for Connor's death. The judge sentenced Scott to death, calling the murder of Laci cruel, uncaring, heartless, and callous. Okay, so this is this year. We have an update. In March 2019, California Governor Gavin Newsom issued a moratorium for all 737 prisoners on death row in California, including Peterson. The order postpones all execution for the duration of Newsom's tenure as governor. Even though California had not executed a prisoner since 2006, due to legal challenges in the state's execution protocol, Newsom's order spares the approximately 25 prisoners on death row who had exhausted their legal appeals and could have had their executions moved forward once the legal challenge was resolved. Peterson's family said they were in favour of Newsom's action, but noted that his case was likely to be unaffected by it. The family does not believe Peterson would exhaust all his legal challenges by January 2027, when Newsom would be leaving office, assuming his re-election in 2022. So Scott Peterson still has some of his appeals to go through, and so we're almost 2020 and he still has another 7 or so years of appeals left, which is kind of crazy. So Audra says that he's 47 now. Hey Terrence, how are you? Did he get assaulted in prison? There's nothing written in here about it, but I'm sure he probably has been. I would say so. The other thing is that we didn't really know. Oh no, we did know that Laci's cause of death was that she was smothered. Yeah, good to see you too, Terrence. Well, prosecutors argued that she was smothered, but there was no actual cause of death. And I guess that's just because she was probably in the water all of that time. So it's a bit hard to know exactly what happened to her. Okay, so forensic pathologist Dr. Brian Peterson testified evidence showed the unborn child, who his parents planned to name Connor, died when Laci was killed. Dr. Peterson was not related to the family. He performed autopsies on Laci Peterson and Connor Peterson, who washed ashore separately on San Francisco Bay. While Laci Peterson's body was badly decomposed, Connor Peterson's body was largely intact. He surmised this was because he was protected in the uterus. Peterson dismissed the theory that Connor Peterson was strangled. A piece of twine was found wrapped around his neck, but he said it was likely material in the water that had happened to become tangled around the body. There was no bruising or other evidence on his body that indicated he was strangled. Truly, I believe that for whatever reason Laci met her demise, it was her death that caused the death of Connor Peterson. Oh my gosh, CS. Wow. Dr. Peterson speculated she may have died from strangulation or smothering, which could leave behind no forensic evidence, but it was impossible to be sure because her head and neck were missing, as well as her forearms. I didn't know this. It was impossible to be sure because her head and neck were missing, as well as her forearms, most of both legs, and all internal organs except for the uterus. I didn't know that. Okay, I'll have a little look. Let me have a little look. So here's another photo that was found. It doesn't say when it was taken, I don't believe, but we'll pop it up. Another Scott Peterson photo. There's another photo of him on the screen. 2011 this photo was taken. Okay. Alrighty, so I think yeah, that it's just such a hard sad case. And he's currently fighting for his innocence. I don't see how it could have been anyone else, but that's just me. I do need to look into that more. And someone mentioned that there is a really good documentary on it. I've watched a couple, but I'll have to have a look and see if there's any others that I need to have a look at. So let's move on to the next Christmas crime, and that is JonBenet Ramsey. Oh, that's not the right one. Little JonBenet Ramsey. So this one's I don't think we have Hulu CS, but if you figure out the name of it, that would be great, because then I can try and track it down here in Australia. All right. So this is probably one of, if not, I would say this is probably one of the most popular unsolved crimes. To me, anyway. So I was a kid when this happened. JonBenet's birthday was August 6, 1990. So I'm 3 years older than her. And I wanted to put a photo up that wasn't one of her like beauty pageant photos, because I wanted to sort of show her age in a sense. She was 6 when she died. So let's go through the madness that is this case. This case is unsolved. JonBenet, I'm sure most people that are here know this case. JonBenet was found dead in their home. There's just so many theories and speculation. One that's become more popular lately is that her brother did it, but her brother was... How old was her brother at the time? Let's see if it's in here. He was only a couple of... He's the same age as me, so he was 3 years older, so he would have been 9. Oh, thank you, CS. I'll be able to Google that and see if I can watch it. Okay, so according to Wikipedia, JonBenet was a child beauty queen, and she was killed in a family home. As we said, they lived in Boulder, Colorado. So I think it's best to say that from what we know is that a ransom note was left at the house, which I'm sure you've all seen. That ransom note has been heavily looked at. A ransom note was left at the house. Her mother rings 911 to say that she's been kidnapped. Police come to the home. She invites her friends over, which was kind of a bit weird in a sense. I don't know. And then whilst they're all searching the home, JonBenet's father, John, actually finds her dead in the basement and brings her upstairs. Hey Jana, how are you? So he brings her upstairs and puts her on the ground, and so the crime scene was completely contaminated. Completely. She sustained a broken skull from a blow to the head and had been strangled. A garrote was found tied around her neck. The autopsy stated that the official cause of death was asphyxia by strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma, and her death was a homicide. So yeah, there is so much speculation about this case and about who did it. A lot of people talk about the ransom note, that the mother wrote the ransom note. The ransom note was written on a notepad in the home. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen for you, this ransom note. You won't be able to see it properly though. That's the only thing. There's part of the ransom note. The way that they have this is really long. Oh, awesome, Jana. It's honestly, it's probably one of my favorite books that I've read like in the last few years. So anyone who doesn't know, I recommended The Trauma Cleaner. It's a book by an Australian woman who she shares her life story, and she talks about what she's been through. And it's not just about trauma cleaning, it's and that business. She talks about being an older transgender woman and how hard a journey that was for her. It's just, she's just a wonderful woman, and talking about her life, it was just amazing. And I am a huge fan of hers. So if you need a new book to read, and I've just finished, for anyone that's interested, I am obsessed with Audible at the moment, and if you need a good book to read, something funny, I just read or listened to Adam Kay's like little mini book. I'm just trying to get the name for you guys. 'Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas, and he has another book that is called This Is Going to Hurt, and it's like a comedy book about being a junior doctor in the UK. And I'm currently reading Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? Which is a book written by a funeral mortician who is just an incredible author as well, and you should read her stuff as well. So there's my little plugs for things that I've been reading. So everyone has a different theory about what happened. A lot of people think that the parents are involved, like a couple of the comments are saying. A lot of people think that Burke Ramsey, who is the brother, he's 3 years older, that he killed her. Some people say accidentally or on purpose. I don't know. I feel like her parents were involved. The whole situation is really bizarre. I should see if I can get the 911 call and upload it to my channel, and then we can have a little chat in the comments about it. That would be really interesting. So, the ransom note. Let's talk a little bit about the ransom note. According to statements that Patsy gave to authorities on December 26th, so this happened on... She was technically killed on Christmas Day and found on what we call Boxing Day, which is December 26th. But in America, you don't have Boxing Day. So Patsy tells authorities on December 26th that she realized that her daughter was missing after she found a 2.5-page handwritten ransom note on the kitchen staircase. The note demanded $118,000 for the child's safe return, almost the exact value of a bonus her husband had received earlier that year. John pointed out to police first on the crime scene that the amount was nearly identical to his Christmas bonus of the prior year, which suggested that someone who would have had access to that information would be involved in the crime. It's just really confusing though, because hey Laurie, it's just really confusing to me because it's just such a weird amount as well. The ransom note is unusually long. I mean, if you have a look, I can't fit it all on the screen or it'll be little, but let me show you for reference. Like it's 2.5 pages long. I watched a special where they talk about, it was a more recent special. I think it was the beginning of last year. Wasn't it the beginning of last year when Dr. Phil interviewed Burke Ramsey? I think it was then. And there was a documentary that came out and talked about how they think that the handwriting looks like Patsy's handwriting. Hey Bella again. We've moved on. We did Laci Peterson and now we're back. We're on JonBenet Ramsey. Interesting. Sia says the Rolling Stones released an article in January 2019 saying a former suspect confessed to the crime in letters to an old school friend. Wow. So the police believe that the note was staged because it did not have any fingerprints except for Patsy's and the authorities who handled it. And because of it included an unusual use of exclamation marks and initialisms. The note and a practice draft were written with a pen and pad of paper from the Ramsey home. The practice draft is really weird to me too. Really weird. His name was Gary Olivia. Interesting. So apparently the federal court ruled that it was highly unlikely that Patsy wrote the note. And 6 certified handwriting experts actually testified to that. The court bemoaned the existence of self-proclaimed experts without credentials trying to wrangle their way into the case by accusing Patsy without scientific basis. So even all these years later, they're still fighting over the handwritten ransom note. I don't know. For me personally, I guess it's 96 though, so they wouldn't be as tech savvy. You'd think that you'd write the ransom note before you went there, don't you? I mean, if that's what the plan would be, you wouldn't. For me, in my crime mind, that if I was planning to kidnap someone for a ransom, I wouldn't want to spend long in the home. And by being in the home for longer by writing the note and writing a draft, it's more likely that you would be discovered. So wouldn't you write the note beforehand? That's just my thought. So then there's the 911 call that's made. And a lot of people say that in the 911 call, they hear Patsy say, "What did you do to Burke?" as if he's the one that killed JonBenet, but I don't think that's the case personally. So yeah, Dr. Phil did analyze Burke's responses, and he didn't believe he had anything to do with it. I don't think Burke Ramsey has anything to do with it. I think he is again a victim of all of this. I really don't think he had anything to do with it. But I might be completely wrong because this case is weird and no one can figure it out. I feel like the parents were involved, but that's just me. So the 911 call was made, and within 3 minutes, police were already in the home. And there was no forced entry into the home, but there was a window that had glass missing from it, I do believe. The worst thing about this case is the contamination of the crime scene. The police didn't lock the house down at any point, and so they had so many visitors come through whilst police were there, which was just so bizarre to me. And so the whole crime scene was contaminated and they weren't able to get good evidence either. Hey, Lady Pegasus. Oh, you didn't get a notification? That explains a lot. Do you know what? I think as of my next live stream, which will be in 2 days, I'm not going to do an event because I've noticed that when you do events, it doesn't send out notifications to everyone. So I'm going to remember that for next time. Very true, Bunny Bubs. So they're all in the house and JonBenet is missing apparently, and police are there and visitors are there. I get it. Patsy probably wanted to be comforted, but I don't think it was the right thing for the police to do at all. And then John finds the body of JonBenet and brings her upstairs, which I kind of understand because it's his little girl. But at the same time, I wish that the police had found her, because that would have shown a lot, helped a lot. So they find her at about 1 p.m. The detectives ask if there's anything that in the house that seems strange or amiss, and they search the basement. There was a room. The house is a really big house as well, so it's not as if it's just a little home. So it took a while to search, and when John finds her body, he brings her upstairs, and JonBenet's mouth is covered with duct tape, and a nylon cord was around her wrists and neck, and her torso was covered with a white blanket. Oh, Lady Pegasus, she passed? Or was that someone else? I'm so sorry, Lady Pegasus. Poor old Ma. Such a hard time of the year. So when JonBenet was moved, the crime scene was further contaminated and critical forensic evidence was disturbed for the returning forensic team. It's just a shit show, to be perfectly honest with you guys. A total shit show. So the autopsy revealed that JonBenet had been killed by strangulation and skull fracture. The official cause of death was asphyxia, like we mentioned. There was no record, no evidence of conventional rape, although sexual assault could not be ruled out. Although no semen was found, there was evidence that there had been vaginal injury. At the time of the autopsy, the pathologist recorded that it appeared her vaginal area had been wiped by a cloth. Her death was ruled homicide. The autopsy revealed a garrote was made from a length of nylon cord and had the broken handle of a paintbrush. A 9-year-old isn't going to know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to know how to make a garrote. I wouldn't know how to do that. It's just ridiculous. Part of the bristle end of the paintbrush was found in a tub containing Patsy's art supplies, but the bottom third of it was never found despite extensive searching of the house by the police. The autopsy revealed a vegetable or fruit material which may represent pineapple, which JonBenet had eaten a few hours before her death. Photos of the home taken on the day when JonBenet's body was found show a bowl of pineapple on the kitchen table with a spoon in it. However, neither John nor Patsy said they remember putting the bowl on the table or feeding pineapples to JonBenet. Police reported they found JonBenet's 9-year-old brother Burke Ramsey's fingerprints on the bowl. The Ramseys have always said that Burke slept through the entire night until he had wakened several hours after the police arrived. So there was a mixed blood sample found on JonBenet's underwear, and they extracted that to establish a DNA profile. Hey TTNZ, how are you? The DNA belonged to an unknown male person and excluded the DNA of each of the Ramseys. And the DNA was submitted to the CODIS database. It hasn't matched any profile in the database. So, in October of 2016, a report said that a new forensic analysis with more sensitive techniques revealed that the original DNA contained genetic markers from 2 individuals other than JonBenet. So that's really interesting because that means there's possibly 2 people involved. A. James Kohler, who was a lead investigator for the DA's office, said that there were additional traces of male DNA found on the cord and the paintbrush that was used for the garrote. And that wasn't mentioned by the district attorney, which was interesting. and that there were 6 separate DNA samples belonging to unknown individuals that were found by the test. So that's really interesting as well. No familial DNA is mentioned at all. Former Adams County, Colorado District Attorney Bob Grant, who also assisted the Boulders DA office on the case for many years, also believes that the DNA evidence is significant, saying that any resolution of the case would have to explain how the DNA showed up on several pieces of JonBenet's clothing. Forensic pathologist Michael Baden said, trace amounts of DNAs can get on places and clothing from all different non-consumptive means. There is no forensic evidence to show that this is a stranger murder. So this relates to the underwear a little bit. I think they looked into the underwear that JonBenet was wearing, and they actually found trace DNA, non-consumptive DNA possibly from factory workers that actually helped produce the underwear. Lady Pegasus, Marie passed last night. Is that correct? I'm so sorry. Yeah, so Patsy's DNA was completely ruled out. So Patsy actually passed away. Can't find the year. Let me go up and see if I can click on her name. Here we go. She passed away on June 24th, 2006. And she had cancer. She had ovarian cancer and she died from that. Which is just awful. And she's buried next to JonBenet. Okay, so we can all say that the investigation is a total shit show. So yeah, ovarian cancer. The whole investigation was a shit show. Now, there are so many different theories and suspects, and people have come forth and said that they killed JonBenet and they didn't. I think for me, the one that I remember the most was in 2006, Mr. John Mark Carr was arrested he was in prison in Bangkok, Thailand, and he said that he killed her and he was extradited to the US. And I think he kind of used that to get out of the Thai prison because his DNA didn't match with the DNA that they found on the scene. But I remember that the most because he was kind of creepy looking to me. Let me show you a photo if you don't remember what he looks like. I think he's actually transgender now, so I should probably use a different pronoun. Oh, Lady Pegasus, I'm so sorry. So let me just double. He doesn't have his own Wikipedia? How confused. Let me just double check because I want to. So I think he now goes by Alexis Reich. So I will use the female pronoun. And I should probably put that into... Yeah, so John Mark Carr is now Alexis Reich. So let me just have a little look. Yeah. In 2010, she went through hormone replacement surgery. Okay. And she was in prison in America, but I'm finding it hard to find info, I think, because of the situation. You know what? It's really interesting. I can't find a lot of information out there. Very interesting. Apparently she has Twitter though, so let's have a little look. Well, that's confusing. Because the Twitters goes to John Mark Carr. I'm so confused. Let me show you the screen. No, it is a legitimate hashtag. Okay, so I'm so confused. You see this, right? So John Mark Carr is now Alexis Reich. This is so weird. I don't think this is a website that Alexis did. So weird. It's just so weird. Hey Moonshadow, how are you? So we're just doing Christmas crimes today. We're looking at the JonBenet Ramsey case. And I was mentioning about how John Mark Carr was... Oh gosh. I've got some breaking information here from Radar Online. This is so confusing, guys. Hey, Vicky Carpenter. So I thought that she was now Alexis, but I don't know from these photos. I'm good. I'm hot though. It's very hot here. This is the photo that's about to come on the screen. This is the photo I remember from the case. Yeah, guys, Christmas is a hard time. Bella Blue says, I have a family friend who we're hoping will be here for one last Christmas. It's heartbreaking. And I mean, I've spent the last couple of weeks saying, because my dog has terminal cancer, and I just keep saying, I just want her to have Christmas. And so she will make Christmas. And but it'll just be a bit of a bittersweet day because I'll know that it's her last Christmas. Christmas. So, yeah, Christmas is hard. It's not, a lot of people don't talk about how hard Christmas is. It's really hard. And I have a second channel and I wanted to put a video out and I just didn't have time to talk about how emotional it can be for Christmas. But yeah, I can't find a lot about John Mark Carr. Not that that's really important in this case. It's just an interesting sidestep. Oh, I have some. Oh no, I got that already. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. So we talked about the false confession. And I think only wasn't it a couple of years ago someone else falsely confessed to the murder as well? And then I remember at one point they blamed Santa Claus that they'd had at the home the day before as well. Oh, what? CS says JonBenet Ramsey's photographer was jailed on child porn charges in Oregon 4 weeks ago. Oh my gosh, we have to search that. Okay, I'm looking at the Como news piece now. Okay, JonBenet Ramsey's photographer jailed on child porn charges in Oregon. The photographer who sold a portfolio of images from a photo shoot with 6-year-old beauty queen JonBenet Ramsey after her 1996 death is behind bars in Oregon, facing more than a dozen counts of encouraging child sex abuse. Oh my gosh. Police arrested Randall D. Simmons. Why does that name sound familiar? That name sounds really familiar. Maybe he's attached to the case in the past. So he's 67 and they arrested him in July on accusations he was regularly accessing images of child pornography on the public wireless network of a local restaurant. Oh my God. The incidents happened between August 2018 and June 2019, according to court filings in the case. Simmons has remained behind bars since his arrest. Oh my gosh. I don't think I knew this either. He appeared in court on Monday for a pre-trial conference. He is due back in court for a similar hearing in December ahead of a January 8th, 2020 trial date. Okay, we have to follow this, guys. Okay, so what's his name? Randall D. Simmons. If anyone wants to go quickly respectfully stalk him and see what happened with the December court date and if he's still scheduled for a hearing, if he's still scheduled for a trial date on January 8th, if you can email me anything on that, if you find it, or put it in the chat, that would be great. I'm shocked. I can't believe it. Simmons was hired in June 96 by the Ramsey family of Boulder, Colorado, to photograph JonBenet, according to news reports from the late 1990s and sources in Colorado. Well, good work, CS. The girl was found dead in her family's home on December 26th that year. In January 1997, Simmons sold a portfolio of glamour photos of JonBenet, according to archive reports from the Associated Press relating to Simmons' later arrest in Colorado on charges of indecent exposure. He hoped the worldwide exposure would lead to the capture of JonBenet's killer, but acknowledged that controversy over the pictures could jeopardize his career. The pictures were taken during a June 1996 photo shoot. They showed the six-year-old beauty queen in makeup and curls and generated criticism of children's pageants. "My career is done. I'll probably never work again," he said then. That's probably why you'd never work again, is because you looked at child porn, not because of that. Let's Google his name and see what comes up. I would say he would be made to take a DNA sample now. So that article was November 26th of this year. So let's see if we find anything from December, because he was meant to have a court date. And I would assume that as of now, until the end of the year, they probably don't do court dates, right? So this is in July. So someone says in the comments of something that the DNA was tested, but we can't go on that because that's just hearsay. Let's go to news articles. Exactly, Moonshadow should never work again. Okay, so here we go. December 2nd is the latest article. Let's have a little look. Let me just take a quick drink. My throat's sore. There's a Fox News link with photos. Yes, please send it. Let me close this ad. Okay. A family hired photographer. So this was updated December 2nd. Who sold a family hired photographer who sold numerous images from a photo shoot of 6-year-old beauty queen JonBenet Ramsey has been arrested and charged with 15 counts of encouraging child sexual abuse. So he was arrested in July 2019 on accusations that he was regularly accessing images of child pornography on the public wireless network of a local restaurant. I still can't get over that. So he entered a plea of not guilty on all 15 counts of encouraging child sex abuse in the first degree on July 11th, 2019. Okay, so he was due back in court on December 16th. But I can't find anything in the news about it. So... But his trial is set, they say trial, his trial is set for January 8th. So we'll have to keep that in mind. It doesn't really say anything else though. I want to know whether his DNA was tested though. That's really interesting. Apparently he walked down a street naked once. Okay, that's interesting. Cops had been tipped off by workers at a local A&W restaurant back in July 2018 who had noticed that someone was using their Wi-Fi to download X-rated content. Wow. Simmons was held in jail after the indecent exposure incident and ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation, though it's unclear what happened with this case. Attempts to reach the sheriff's office in Lincoln County, where he was arrested, were unsuccessful. Oxygen has a link listed. For what? Oh, I can see it. Thank you. Let me just do a little skim and see if it says anything else. In 1998, 2 years after the 6-year-old was killed, he was arrested for indecent exposure, the AP reported at the time. According to the book Perfect Murder, Perfect Town, the then 46-year-old was allegedly walking naked down a street in the small Colorado town of Genoa. He told the arresting officer, "I didn't kill JonBenet," according to the book. That's all that it says. Oh, it talks about sex offender Gary Oliver as well, who's serving a decade behind bars in Colorado for 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. That was the latest guy that said that he killed her, but that turned out to not be true. Wow. Crazy. I hadn't heard of that part of the story. I guess we'll have a little look out. I'm sure they've done the DNA and that's why nothing's been mentioned, because he was ruled out. We would have known otherwise, I think. Yeah, there's very little info to find. I think that's pretty much the majority of the info that there is. Basically, in July of 96, he took photos of JonBenet in her beauty pageant setup, and then he ended up selling them. And then as of this year, he was looking at X-rated content on a restaurant's Wi-Fi and was arrested. Very interesting. I would say so, Bella Blue. I'd have to have a look. If anyone wants to look at the Colorado court information, court documents with his name, feel free to and shoot me an email. I will add it to my list of things to do. I have a lot to do. I need to go through the rest of the Jamie Kloss police files they released. I still have like 9,900 pages to go through for our next live. I'm also working on a video, 3 or 4 videos actually at the same time, but I'm going to take 2 days off, really take them off, so that'll have to wait. So let's have another little look and see. There's a couple of other Christmas crimes. No other like big cases. I'll just mention a couple of others and then we might wrap it up because I've been on here for almost 2 hours. So apparently there was a murder plot hatched in a Star Wars code one Christmas. So, brothers David and Roger Cooper plotted to poison a woman in a series of Star Wars inspired coded texts. Samina Imam was having an affair with Roger, but he was so desperate for Samina, one of the three of his lovers, not to reveal what was going on to his wife. So the only option was to kill her. After a month of planning and messages exchanged in code, the brothers plotted to kill Samina. When she arrived at David's home in Leicester on Christmas Eve, looking for Roger, David decided to smother her with a rag soaked full of chloroform. Her body was found buried in woodland. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I found another one. A rampaging Santa armed with a flamethrower. Bruce Pardo, 45, killed 9 people. Oh my gosh. Including his ex-wife after going on a rampage dressed as Santa Claus with 4 handguns and a flamethrower at a Christmas Eve party. According to a woman caught in the conflict calling police, it revealed her saying, "He's shooting my whole family. My mum's house is on fire." She goes on, "We need someone immediately. My daughter's been shot. She was shot in the face." Former aerospace engineer Pardo had recently gone through a bit of divorce with ex-wife Sylvia, 43, who died alongside her parents and 3 of her 4 siblings. He later shot himself dead. Oh my gosh. People are crazy. Psycho Santas, yep, sounds like it. Oh gosh, there are a lot that I could go over, but they're kind of a bit brutal. Yeah, Renee's gonna have to postpone her Christmas a couple of days, but the most important thing is that you rest. Is there CS? You should send it to me. I've got a few cases I'm working on at the moment, but any cases are welcome. So I will be live again on Friday in Australia, Thursday in America. Same time as always, 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 p.m. in Australia. And then we'll just do every other day as I have been doing. But I plan to take Christmas Day. For me, in Australia, I'll be having Christmas Day and Boxing Day off, which in America is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Oh wow, Lady Pegasus. There are a lot of crimes that happen on Christmas. I've been doing a lot of Googling. Yeah, I do need to rest as well. I plan to actually go rest right now because I'm waiting for Santa to come. Santa comes every year, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, with the RFS workers, and I want to donate some money. And then I plan to binge watch some Christmas movies in the bunny room with Bella and probably order some takeout for dinner. And just relax. And actually I need to go and finish buying that Christmas present I was mentioning. I do want to show you guys, maybe I'll do a little video and pop it on my second channel. I want to reveal the Christmas present that I bought for myself, my mum, dad and my sister. It's a very, very special Christmas present. And I'm so looking forward to them getting it and to show it online because it's very, very meaningful, and I'm honored that someone could help me do that. And I'll mention more about it tomorrow. But yeah, I should probably head out. Bella is panting because it's very hot, so I'm going to get her cooled down in the air conditioning. But I hope that you guys enjoy your Christmas, and I know it can be a rough time of the year, so shoot me an email if you need to talk. And thank you for spending some time with me. I know everyone's very busy this time of the year. It is a very stressful time, just like Moonshadow just said. I'm looking forward to having a rest, eating some good food, sharing some presents and time with family. And you're welcome to come and join our Facebook group, All Things True Crime. I might share some more Christmas crimes in the group over the next couple of days. But have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and I will see you in 2 days, Thursday for the Americans, Friday for Australia, and we will go from there. Merry Christmas, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, to like the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.